First at 10, the Pentagon announced today that 50 armed forces personnel have now been diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries following an Iranian missile attack earlier this month. Last week, that number was 34, after initial reports said no troops were hurt, only a few suffering headaches.
Tonight, we take a look at how such injuries can worsen after the incident. ABC 7's Maria Serrano spoke with 3 local doctors to learn more.
Blast injuries and TBIs are very common in military conflicts.
It could be a blunt injury or a penetrating trauma.
Traumatic brain injury because of blast is actually a very different kind than if somebody suffered a traumatic brain injury from, for example, a car accident. They are not apples to apples.
The difference is, in the blast injury, it's much more severe. So that brain's really getting tossed around inside the brain cavity or the cranium. And then as the swelling ensues, it can be much more severe.
But no matter what type of brain injury is suffered, doctors say long-term consequences such as cognitive problems or seizures can develop.
It could be a physical, for example, somebody has hearing problems, some altered mentation. It could be sensory problems like slurred speech, or it could be a cognitive impairment in form of memory, in form of the balance and seizures on a long-term basis.
TBIs can also result from the powerful changes in atmospheric pressure that come with these explosions.
The injury happens right from the very start. There will be a wave that moves out from the center of the explosion outward. And so when you get that, your head will go like this when the wave hits it, or it'll go side to side. And it just depends on what parts of it hits that causes the damage.
The swelling will then ensue because the brain's getting pushed back and forth from the ricochet effect of the blast. After that occurs and the brain continues to swell, you can actually impede blood flow to the brain, and that's where you start seeing your neurodeficits come into play.
What happens in post-concussive syndrome is there are a set of symptoms that one gets. You can get a headache, you can get dizziness, you get altered consciousness, or times in which you feel like you can't remember very well, or depression.
In Amarillo, Maria Serrano, ABC 7 News.
Now, a study from the Cleveland Clinic showed nearly 30% of military members serving in Iraq and Afghanistan have suffered concussions, with most of those coming from explosions.
Researchers say blast-related concussions can also result in the loss of the ability to control impulses, which could lead to behaviors such as gambling or heavy drinking. In the past, those changes in behavior may have been attributed to post-traumatic stress disorder.